Good afternoon, traders. Mark here from the day trading room. It's approaching, well, it's just gone 10 to 4 in the afternoon London time. Market's been on a Monday afternoon. The market's been open for about an hour and a half, and just one trade for me so far. I wanted to discuss that trade, the thought process behind the trade, why I took the trade, the entry, the exit points, and just really what I was thinking from the opening bell right through till now, while it's fresh in my mind. So yeah, I mean the market opened and we saw this just sort of drift lower. I would not call that a drive, and we filled the gap. Now that's it's a trade in its own right if that's your setup. But on a Monday morning, I just rather wait and see some commitment. As far as I'm concerned, this is what I call a nickname dirty candles, the red green, lots of wicks, lots of tails. No one is really dominating the price action. Yes, we have a little bit of a downtrend, but look at the scale. That's 330 was the open, 95, so 35 points over 15 minutes isn't a lot of volume. VWAP was keeping it pinned. But really for me that's just noise. I'm not interested, and just to confirm that, I'm looking at the ticks and I'm just seeing no extremes there. We hardly even got, in fact we didn't in the first 15 minutes get above or below, above plus 500 or below minus 500, so just showing no commitment there on the market. So I'm not interested. I'm just not interested. I'm waiting for something to happen. Not in any rush to trade, especially on a Monday. I'd rather wait for something good to happen. So then we got this new low here. Now we got a new low here, which was bought, so it's a bit of a fake out there, and it started to drive up. A little bit of a divergence in ticks. The red dot denotes the new low on the day on ticks, so there's no new low on ticks. Volume slightly spiked, and then we sort of drifted back up. One thing I wanted to add also is, if I just bring this chart in here, here's the pre-market chart. And pre-market, I always put the highs and lows and some key levels on. Key level there, I'd put in a rough key level. There's a dotted line, a dashed line here, showing there's some support here. And this was after the open. We broke through that, and basically that support held. So more interesting information. Something to look at, something to pay attention to. So we started to drive up. We really saw a lot of green candles. Again, this is not a real aggressive drive by any means. Don't confuse that with the aggressive drive reprice trade. This is just a fake out. A few people perhaps trapped, just thinking, they're probably thinking they're shorting that low, or people getting stopped, get a little bit frustrated. Not a lot, but we're probably pressing some emotional buttons there. 50% retracement of the whole move. First red candle of that play, didn't pull back. So again, people are still a little bit unhappy about the situation. Now this is where I start to get a bit more interested. When we're around here and I've seen all this, I'm starting to get a little bit more interested, especially when I'm starting to see some nice high ticks, some new high ticks. Yeah, we're not talking thousands, so still got to bear that in mind. This isn't the trade of the decade we're talking. This is just a potential day trade setup, scalp opportunity. We're not going to get rich off this, but this is the bread and butter stuff that we look for, high probability trading opportunities. So we broke that high there, took out the high, a nice cluster of high ticks, and we started to pull back. Ticks to zero. Now I'm starting to get more interested. So my question to you would be, those who have seen my videos should be able to answer this. If I had that set up there, where would be my likely target? Now, bearing in mind this is the setup here. That's the overnight high there. Okay, and we're about here. This is the pullback here, so we're about here where my cursor is. Where would be the target? And I'll just show you the cash as well. So we're about here on the cash. Hopefully you can all see that. We've broken through that high, and it's about this point here. So where would be my target? Yep, you've got it. The whole number on the cash, 12,400. It's as good a target as any. Why not? That's a good target. We know that it was in play the prior day's trade a couple of times, so it's a great target. And not only that, but there's confluence there at the overnight high. Look at the overnight high. The overnight high coincides with that 12,400 cash. It's a nice target. It's something that would act as a magnet for the trade. I like trades that have got good targets. If they've got good targets, I'm looking for a nice trigger to get in the trade, and for me that's a good target. Overnight high, we know the probabilities of hitting overnight highs and lows, talked about those before. So that's on your side. The cash, whole numbers like that, 100 numbers, that's on your side. So what's the setup? The setup is we've maybe got a few trap shorts, maybe, but I like the fact that we haven't had a pullback yet. We've driven up that, basically the full extension of the daily move. Ticks are nice and high, pulling back to zero, volumes dipping off. I'm long there. I'm long there, and I've got a stop, a fixed stop, a 15-point stop. If that, to be honest with you, if it started going 10 points against me, considering that, that would probably be around about here. Let's just clear that off. That would be around. Where I've lost the chart. Oh, here. That'll be around here. So that's probably a little bit much. Looking at it, you don't, considering the move. Really, I would sit through a wick to there, but I'd want to see it coming back pretty much straight away. If we wick to there, then the other candle started probing, then I'd probably be out. So really, the stop level is going to be around here. Now that is not a lot. That's sort of 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 ticks max, maybe 12 if it may really max. So there's talking about the stop. Target's about 20 points. There's about 20 points in that because the overnight high was around the 44, and the Dow cash, looking at the other chart here, it was around about the 80. So yeah, we're talking talking about 20 points. So it's, if you like the risk reward, if you're the sort of person who likes to look at risk reward, it sets up nicely for that. The trigger was the pull back to zero on the ticks, and it's holding, so I'm long there. I'm happy to go long there, and boom, we took a nice little push up, and it was just great. I wasn't looking for anything spectacular on it. I took a couple of scales as we pushed up. Final scale as we tagged that 12,400 on the cash. I'll just bring that in just to show. There's the tag. I think it went to 12,401. So pretty much one tick off the high. The overnight high was 44, if I recall, went to 47. So pretty much 3 or 4 ticks off the high on that trade on the exit. Just a nice little trade. Not, as I say, not spectacular. You're not going to get rich off it, but it's a sort of trade that sets up nicely. Everything's in alignment. More importantly, you've got a nice target for it. You've got that 12,400 cash. It happens to be the overnight high as well. Happens to be a prior day's resistance level. You've got the precursor for that, which is the drive up without a pullback. Then you get the pullback and the ticks to zero. It's a first pullback, it's a ticks to zero. It's also a pullback to the breakout point just below. It just fits nicely. It's a nice little trade. Don't get too carried away with it, but it's just one of the trades that I like to take. So that's it. Probably be it for the day. It looks very, very quiet. Other than that, we've got a 62-point range so far on the day, 95-point overnight range. So, and the ticks haven't really, they haven't gone anywhere. We haven't got a plus 1,000 or minus 1,000 ticks at all. So that might well be the trade for the day. But just wanted to point out while it's fresh in my mind, maybe give you something to think about. Look out for sort of trades like that, and just how the thought process works. So the overnight session, looking at that, looking at the actual type of day, very mixed. No one's in control. Seeing that little fake out, then seeing the drive, seeing no pullback, then they'll get the first pullback, ticks to zero to confirm, got a nice target, it sets up nicely, stop levels nice and tight. It's just a nice little setup. So anyway, good trading, guys. Important thing, manage that risk, as I talked about in my previous video. Very, very important to do that. Even if you're going for just a little 20-point scalp, you want to keep that risk managed. If it doesn't work, get out, look for the next trade. So yeah, keep that risk managed. Okay, take care, guys. Back with another video later in the week.